Nadia Ali
on BBC Asian Network. All right, as promised, I bring you the best talent that we have right here.
Wow.
Not actually just here, but overall. You're not supposed to... You know what, Mizan, can I just say something, okay? I had this huge introduction ready for you, and you're just like, wow, all right.
You know what?
You don't...
It's too big.
I should have just put the mic down and then got ready to say it and then put the mic up.
Maybe.
Can I do it now?
Yeah, go on then.
All right. So I bring you the best talent possible, and right here, British Asian poetry or spoken word artist. There's only one name that goes around my inbox, my WhatsApp,
I know.
my everything, and he still talks. Totally gets bombarded by this person. It is none other than social activist and poet, spoken word artist, Mizan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Better. Yeah, good. I'm a bit thrown off. You threw me off with like trying to do my introduction.
I am so sorry. I never had. I mean, to be honest with you, I just see myself as a spoken word artist and campaign and social activist. Nothing big, really.
Well, that you know what? You had like loads of big words in there, and you're saying nothing big, really. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. But by the way, Bijoy Divas Shubhecha to you.
Thank you very much. Happy Victory Day to you as well, and to everyone listening as well.
How does it feel to be actually, not how does it feel, but what are you proud of being a British Bangladeshi?
To be honest with you, just how integrated we are in terms of we've kept our culture, our identity, yet we have... we have contributed positively to the society. So obviously two things that immediately come to my mind. Obviously in the restaurant industry, that's one of the industries that we've made a very big name for ourselves. Even though a lot of Bengali restaurant owners say that their restaurants are Indian restaurants, but still most of them, in fact all of them are Bangladeshi.
I'd say like 90% are probably British Bangladeshis owning restaurants.
And also something like this. So the BBC Asian Radio Network, the way you've kind of come in here and basically made yourself feel at home over here and give us British Bangladeshis a voice on the BBC Asian Radio Network. That's something that I think I'm really proud of as well.
No, definitely. And you know what? It is a platform. It's national radio.
Yeah.
And it is for people like yourself that have so much to give, actually.
Yeah.
So let's do a bit of an introduction for my listeners that don't know you.
Yeah.
But going to give a bit of history here. We met last in 2014.
Yeah.
Wow. That's when I started. Well, actually, it's not when I started, because I started in 2012, end of 2012. So a year into my show, you came on, and the dynamics have changed. I asked you on the spot to do a Bengali and Sylheti poem.
Word, yeah.
Oh my God, how difficult was that?
That was very difficult.
I wish I could dig that out.
No.
You know what? We should really try and dig that out. That would be so good to try and find that.
I do not want to,
I'd love to hear that back. I'd love to hear you do that. Because you were, I do remember now, you were so annoyed, and you were like, really, do I have to do it in Bengali now?
Yeah,
I was like,
you know what?
You don't have a choice. Yeah, you do.
You didn't give me a choice.
It was actually not even me, it was my producer, I'm not going to lie. My producer was really hellbound on, okay, it's a Bengali show, it's got to be in Bengali, we don't have room for English. And I had to even speak to you in Bengali.
I think, no, you didn't.
Yeah,
I think
I did.
I'm not sure.
It was broken.
I think it was a bit of mix.
It was Banglish.
It was
That's what
Banglish,
it was.
definitely.
It was Banglish. So it was like, oh, Gabanato, oh, how are you? Like,
it was
just
like that. It was just how we speak at home, basically.
So it wasn't too bad.
But it wasn't too bad. But I was just like, I had to do this poem in Sylheti.
Yeah. How do I even do this? Mizan, since then, you've done so much. And obviously, like I said, you are one of the people that totally... wake me up in the middle of the night with your WhatsApp messages.
Yes,
yeah, you bombard everyone.
It's called spamming.
Yeah, that's it. You spam me. You fully spam my... today, before I was coming to work, so me and my husband always discuss, although I don't think he even listens to me, but the funniest thing happened, because we were just talking, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm just going to go to work, and he was like, oh, who do you have on? And I was like, oh, this is happening, that's happening. And I said, Musa and Nish, they've just released a track, it's going to be exclusive of my show, and I've got a poet on my show today called Mizan, who's really good. And he goes, oh, is this Mizan the poet that messages you at 12 at night sometimes? And I'm like, yeah, it is. And he was like, oh, I'm really glad you've got him on.
You know what happens?
Because he really does send his work across, and I'm glad you've got him on. So he's never heard your work, but he is aware of what a grafter you are. And I love that about you.
And I'm glad that my WhatsApp messages are being read, because sometimes they are. I can see sometimes when I send them out, I'm like, hold on, it's not even blue yet. I sent this out like last week. I have to send you another one. So the thing is that I believe that the reason why I do this is because, especially when I have either a track or an event coming up, the way I promote it on WhatsApp and emails and stuff like that is because I really believe in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And the thing is I believe that whatever it is I'm doing, it adds value. That's why I believe in it. That's why I send it out. But also, I'm just excited about it. So I'm just excited about the reaction that I would get and everything. So it's like all my friends that work with me and that have known me know that I like to push my own stuff out just to see what kind of reaction I get, because I get excited by it.
And you are doing absolutely amazing. The love that you get from everyone. And I hear your name everywhere I go. So you are definitely doing something right. So tell me a bit about this. I mean, how did this all start for you? Where did Mizan the poet, the name, come from?
I couldn't be bothered to think of a name. So that's all it is. And you know what it is? Because it was a bit weird because, on my passport, my name is Mizanur, but everyone calls me Mizan.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, Mizan and just the poet. That's it. I can't be bothered to think of a name because people are like, what are you going to call yourself on stage? It has to be something wicked, like one word or whatever. And I'm like, I can't be bothered. Let the work do the talking. So Mizan the poet. And then the thing is, there was another guy called George the poet as well. And I don't think he could be bothered to think of a name.
So
I'm
just became
like,
George the poet.
Yeah. But people just know me, introduce me as Mizan. I'm just the poet. That's all it is.
When did poetry start for you?
Well, thing is, I started to become interested in it in 2006. And the reason why that is a lot of my friends at that time were doing, I had a lot of Muslim artist friends at that time. And then in London at that time, there was this urban Muslim rap spoken word scene. Mm-hmm. And so I used to attend a lot of those because I just was interested in the type of stuff that was coming out. But also, it was just, I needed to find myself as well. And they introduced me to spoken word. And I saw the powerful work of people like Amir Suleiman and all these other people. But for me, it didn't really take off until 2012 when I just felt this love for poetry itself and I started writing myself. And then when I started writing it, again, I sent it out to a lot of people, like what I was writing, and I was getting a lot of feedback, like positive feedback. So I'm like, okay, I should take this a lot more seriously. But because of, so that's when I decided to take it a lot more seriously. Like, it's not going to be just a hobby. It's going to be something, it's going to be part of my identity as well. But the idea is, like, what did I want to do with the poetry? And immediately, because I come from an activist side, I'm a campaigner as well.
Yeah.
I wanted my poetry to inspire positive social change.
Yeah.
So I would always talk about issues, about social stuff, political stuff, because I come from that background. At that time, I was volunteering for like 2 or 3 charities for a good number of years.
You work quite closely with Restless Beings.
Restless Beings, Muslim Youth Helpline as well, and there's a few other charities as well. So it was really my experiences in the Muslim Youth Helpline at that time, because I joined them in 2007 and had to leave them in 2012. So I had 5 years of listening to people on the phone.
And Muslim youth.
Yeah, Muslim youth, and some of the stuff that they were going through. So it's really all their stories that was coming out.
Yeah.
But
so was it quite, is your poetry quite Islamically, would you say, inspired?
It is inspired Islamically, but it's not Islamic poetry. So there's a difference. I think I have to make that difference because you're not the first one that said that. So in terms of the values, in terms of the principles, it's very Islamic. Like in terms of wanting better for people, creating awareness for stuff, but it's not Islamic poetry.
So what is it more so about for our listeners?
So it's more about social issues, stories, how things affect people, or just... so I'll give you just a broad framework. My poetry can be used for workshops. So if you want to do a workshop on a certain issue, I normally will have something that will complement your workshop, so you can use the video.
We might just play a little game later on. I might just throw a few words at you.
Oh,
and you
no, please. Please, no.
I love that, Mizan. You look so distressed right now.
I'm so tired.
And
You don't
Nadia,
understand,
please
I've had a
don't do
long day.
this to me. I'll tell you what. Okay, fine. I'll let you think right now of one of your best performances, your favorite poetry, and you can read it out or say it to me, and just let the nation hear your voice.
Okay.
All right? We'll do that straight after this track right here. I don't think I want to grill him. I feel so sorry for him. He just looks so worried right now, poor guy. Don't be. I'm not horrible, I promise you. Here's 5 things have changed. Here's 5 a.m. for you. There you have it, 5 a.m. Sharar for you. It is coming to 10:30, and still with me I have Mizan the poet, and I'm going to ask Mizan to take us straight into his poetry, please.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so this one's called Death Before Dishonor, and it's available on YouTube. It goes, in this case, there's no honor in being violent. No honor in unleashing feelings that refuse to stay silent. There's nothing worse than leaving your daughter more than frightened, but still, some would go beyond those limits. To protect the family name, they're more than rigid. Sacrilege must remain dead and buried, and so it does under her name in the cemetery. Since she didn't heed his lecture, she wanted another guy, but he didn't let her. Forbidden love didn't create the rift. What did was death before dishonor. Instead of a happiness, what he had in mind was torture. Just wanting to make her scream led to the shock of raising a murdered teen, because for a split second he forgot what being a father means when the little princess fell from his eyes. While trying to live up to his vision is how patriarchy kept her in prison, which was why he was unwilling to listen. Ever since finding out, he wanted her married off now and not leave it till later, as the role of a wife can serve to police behavior, especially when they're still kind of young. Marriage is used to allay the irrational fear from parents of what their daughters may become. Independent, liberal, or traditionally less observant. Detaching themselves from honor for someone like her, it was a burden that she carried on her shoulders, showing no sign of resistance, but anger grew at her brother, who was treated kind of different. You can say better. A form of discrimination based on gender places the issue of choice point blank at the center, praying that he would accept the guy she was seeing, just two beautiful human beings who wanted to build a dream. But no, at that moment, he forgot what being a father means when he changed her room into a crime scene, showing how gender inequality can widen even further via twisted ideologies, preserving honor through murder. To justify the end with the blare of police sirens, the moral of the story, there's no honor in being violent. There is no honor in honor killing. There is no honor in murder. Thank you.
Wow, that was really, really deep. And anyone that feels like they've been affected, don't forget BBC helpline support is there. So please do go check that out. Now, tell me a bit about this. This was beautiful.
Thank you.
I literally have goosebumps all over my hands. It was arms. It was honestly amazing. It really pull the heartstrings. Tell me a bit about it. Where did this come about?
So I was just coming up with a few videos, and what happened was a counsellor from Barnet messaged me, and she was saying she checked out some of my videos, and she was like, Mizan, your poetry is very powerful. You know, you tell stories from the victim's perspective. You should do something on honor killing. And then what happened was I decided at that point when she messaged me, I wanted to do something that affects our community and women's wise, in terms of women's rights wise anyway. So I was doing a lot of research on honor killing, and I saw Dia Khan's documentary called Banaz, which is a very powerful documentary on Banaz Mahmoud. And then that kind of inspired me to start writing the poem, and I kind of based it on Banaz's story. And then, you know, the important thing is when I came out with the track, I'd done a video for it on Global Faction's YouTube channel, and then he put it up and we started plastering it everywhere. Again, Nadia Ali got the spams for that as well, and everyone got the spams for that. And then what happened was a few people got in touch, a few charities got in touch, because they were saying to me that not a lot of Asian men are involved in women's rights issues, and especially none of them really talk about honor killing, apart from Nazir Afzal, who was the CPS, right? So one of them, Polly from the Sharon Project, big up Polly, she met up with me, and she was like, look, why don't we work together, like do some more stuff? Yeah. And, you know, she invited me to some events where I started performing. But from the events, I saw that the male attendance was in a minority. So by that time, I was doing a lot of reading myself, and I was trying to make sense of women's rights and gender rights within myself as well, and also independently educating myself about the issue so that, I might be able to challenge many of the male biases and privileges that I have within myself as well. And in the process of doing that, I genuinely got interested in the issue.
Yeah.
So I started doing my own events, and I done one in March in the House of Commons, and it was all about what men can do to challenge gender-based violence. I performed, but we had other people come and give talks as well. And last Wednesday, I done one in City Hall.
I know. I mean, that's what I was coming to. I mean, it's amazing how you are doing so much work around these serious issues, and as a male, you're tackling like honor killing, domestic violence, and that's what you worked on recently, right?
Yeah. So that's I believe you had Marzana on the show.
I did, yes.
Yeah. So me and her, we were doing some work together in terms of the Broken Bride, and under that banner, I kind of organised this event with City Hall, and what we'd done was a couple of panel discussions, film screenings on the issue, and I performed, and we had some young spoken word people, artists performing as well. And what was interesting is, again, the whole issue of trying to get men, and especially for me, Asian men, involved.
To come out and talk about it.
Yeah, and I can understand why they wouldn't want to do that, because, for me, being introduced to this issue, I didn't see how this kind of fit in with my experiences and with my kind of where I wanted to go. But the more I learn about it, the more I can see that this is also a form of oppression. Maybe we don't see it. But I'll give you an example. Just by you and me, Nadia, just by visually, people can see equality.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry to say, in our community, there's actually, I'm more privileged than you are.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. So, for example, I had Huda Jawad, who is a domestic violence intervention practitioner.
Yeah, I met her. She's amazing.
She told me about the whole access in mosques thing. So she was telling me that, look, Mizan, as a male, if you could go to any part of the country and you don't have to worry about, getting access to a mosque, you should just walk in.
But for a woman, it's different.
I had no idea. It was mind-blowing for me. And she was saying, if I were to go to different parts of the country, I'd have to think about that. And for me, I started seeing things like that as a women's rights issue, especially as a Muslim women's rights issue. And then I started, started putting up Facebook posts, all those kind of things. And now what I'm trying to do is use creativity to create more awareness about violence against women and girls. And then off the creativity, develop more campaigns. So there's going to be more big things coming next year.
Well, you know what? And I cannot wait to see what you have coming up. But for those that feel quite distressed with today's conversation, for details of organisations which offer advice and support with forced marriages or honour violence, go online to bbc.co.uk/action-line. Thank you so much, Mizan, for coming onto the show today. I mean, I could spend the next hour talking to you. Honestly, I don't feel having the last 20 minutes with you was enough, because you have so much to offer. But like you said, you've got loads coming up next year. So I'm telling you now, I better get some, well, we can't say first airplay, but I'm sure you can send me some of your tracks, your spoken word.
I always do.
Well, we want some more. So next year, definitely spam me, call me. Don't just spam me, call me, pick up the phone and send it my way. And definitely we'll be playing it out on my show and have you more next year. But thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Before you leave, how can people follow you and your work?
So if they type in Mizan the Poet on Facebook, I'm on Facebook, on Twitter, the same thing as well, YouTube, the same thing as well, Google, just the same thing as well.
Just find Mizan the Poet, that's all it is. If you missed any of it, you can listen back to it on BBC Sounds. Oh, what a lovely guy. Honestly, it was great catching up with him. Please do go follow him and listen back to the show.